Hello there. This is Rom Wills and the lovely Miss Mocha Angel.
Hello.
And this is the review of the latest Insecure episode, Lowkey Trying.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts as we started out? Because you know what? I know a lot of men and women going, but like, no. I was like, a lot of people thought, okay, that was closure with Issa and Lawrence last week. Nah, it wasn't no closure. It was just opening things back up, but on a different level. What were your
Right.
thoughts?
I kind of was like, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. Yeah, they have chemistry. They're very close. They know each other very well. They've grown, but I'm still like, so I'm not on
Mm,
board, not fully.
you're not on board. Well, one of the good things about it is they weren't like, yeah, they were getting together, but it was still kind of up in the air because he's still,
Mm-hmm.
going for that job in San Francisco, but they just kind of letting it flow. But the flow, I mean, it's a pretty good flow, but in the back of her mind, probably it's like, well, he might go to San Francisco. This could change everything because, she's really getting her business really started,
Right.
in LA. And, a long distance thing might not work out as much, but
True.
you know what? They were just in the moment and that's cool. That's cool. Personally,
Mm,
I think it might have been better for like last week to just be like maybe a closure or something. But and because I was like, well, if they get back together, maybe next year.
right.
But yeah, it is what it is though. But you know what? Even how they did that, I say, okay, story wise, okay. It's just flowing and they ain't really
Hmm.
forcing anything, like trying to move in together, anything like that. So it's like,
Right.
okay, take it peaceful. So yeah, so anyway, what are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, he said, he had talked to Condola and it was
Mhm.
over. So hopefully he's telling the truth because we don't know that. We never saw them talk, you
Okay.
know, we don't know. And then here comes Homeboy, and my first thought when Nathan texted Issa, hey, can you help me move? I just thought,
Mhm.
please don't sleep with him. Please don't mess this up. That was my very first thought, but we'll get to him later. So,
Okay. And I'm gonna tell you what. Well, when Molly was in therapy with Dr. Rhonda,
yes.
it made me really think. It was like, you know what? If you really look at this season, the
Mm-hmm.
underlying theme wasn't so much Issa or Lawrence or
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. It was Molly. If
Yes.
you look at it, it was just nice and underlying and what she was going through. Because, okay, obviously Lawrence is grown. And this
Mm-hmm.
season was all about Issa growing and coming into herself, everything like that. Molly is the one who hasn't grown in 4 years. If you think about it,
Okay.
she has
All right.
not really. Where has she grown at? Where did she? And the doctor even pointed it out. She wants to, something happened. She blame everybody else. Starting with her father having an affair.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago before she knew anything.
Right.
And, even though, at the Thanksgiving thing, she sat next to him, she still might not have forgiven him,
No.
you know? And
Mm-mm.
it's like, you got all this stuff with Dro and all this stuff happening with
Mm-hmm.
different people.
Right.
And even that thing with Andrew's brother. And she's like, he said, it's like she's not taking responsibility for what she could do because she needed to come halfway. It's like
Correct.
everybody else got to do something, but it's like, oh, I'm innocent. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wait a minute, that's not accountability. It's
No.
like I can understand if she felt like she was the only one reaching out, but everybody else is reaching out to her, and that comes up again later. But when we, get into before they even met, because he said, she got that call from Nathan, and I mean that text from Nathan. She
That
wasn't
text
sure
from
what she's going
Nathan.
to do.
Right.
What
Okay.
were your
Yeah. So
thoughts
she
on
gets.
all of that?
Yeah. So you want to go back to Nathan texting her to help him move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Messy. And I'm glad she asked Lawrence what he thought about it,
Mm-hmm.
but it was messy, and it should have been like, yeah, no, let me tell you what's going on, like before I say yes to this or tell you why I'm saying no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, he cool. Lawrence is cool because they're not back together again. But no, it wasn't. It was a bad idea. It was a terrible idea. Based on what we saw is coming next week. But I mean, they got clarity. But I thought the theme of the show was, score one for the therapist. Okay, that's what it was, because going to Dr. Rhonda, going to Molly, she said, "Do you want to be right or do you want to be in a relationship?" And then score one for therapy too for Nathan coming up later. And so it is about people trying to figure out like who they are and how they want to be in this world. And for Molly, it's just, I'm right, you're wrong. And if you wrong me, I cut you off. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to work it through. I don't want to hear your side of the story. I ain't got to apologize. And that's not how life works. And that's why Andrew is her longest relationship. That's exactly why. So, but she can't see that yet. She will.
Yeah, and as we saw later, I'm not sure how long, because Andrew had that look later on, like, because Andrew's brother had invited both of them to see the Clippers.
Right.
And, she was a Kawhi Leonard fan, saying he could get it. And, Andrew's laughing about it, but it was like she didn't want to go. She's still mad at Victor. And it seemed like in this case, Victor even inviting him is, it's probably Victor's way of saying, you know what, I messed up. This is still my brother and everything. We can talk about that later, because, the big scene, they had the little funny thing, she called Kelly, couldn't get in touch with her, called them all. And then she imagined that she called Molly, and then Molly like really tore into her, but then that's one of Issa's like, imagination thingies. And then, but they still meet at the diner, and there was still some tension, but they didn't really address the issue still.
Child. So I wrote, I didn't hear an apology from anybody. Problem number one. Problem number two, you were in public, like I said last week. Problem number three, they kept it superficial. The whole point was to talk about what happened and talk about the relationship, and they just talking like nothing happened. And bad news.
Yeah. And then, she still goes, meet with met with Andrew. And,
right.
Andrew was kind of like, hey, you can make a kind of move here. And, she still didn't want to do it. And, it still is like, I'm right. Everybody else is wrong. And then, of course, we see Issa. Issa's still doing her thing. It wasn't just a one and done. Now she's setting up a wellness event, self-care Sunday. I was like, go ahead. She didn't have half the stuff. She still needed to get a spot and everything, but she was still doing her thing.
Right. Yeah. So her and her assistant were, they got a new event for a cycle place. And she said, I need a name. I need a business name. I need a space. I need a company. But she's still doing it. She's doing the hustle, and she'll get there. So that was good to see.
Yeah, and then, briefly saw Lawrence, and he's like had a great interview. So that's going to be an issue coming up too. It's like, yeah, they kind of got back together, but the only good thing I could possibly see though is that, okay, we both moving on. We had this thing, but it's a different space from before. Now, of course, last week we said, oh, okay, they had their closure and everything. It'll be a while. And then all of a sudden, that couch is getting a workout. So it's like, because at first, let's go back to that scene. When I first saw it, I said, oh, that must be one of Issa's like imagination things.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
I was like, okay, yeah, she gonna wake up at home or something, wishing that was the case. I was like, okay. Oh, damn, this is actually happening. Like, okay. All right. It's like, y'all done messed up my prediction. And they're going to be lighting up YouTube about that.
And Twitter.
Yeah, especially the both sides. The women going to be like, no, not him. And, the guy's going to be like, nah, he should have just moved on. But you know what? That's actually realistic too, to be honest. That's realistic, because they both were really different people at that point. So there's like two new people meeting. Yeah, they had a past, but it was a different vibe. Totally different vibe. So that happens. That's real life, regardless of what anybody think of those characters. When people grow, it actually happens. That's why you get people who you know, they might have been married, divorced, but then get married years later, but it's different, or couples that dealt with each other years ago, but then they get back together. It's life. And it was, I mean, it's realistic, even though people wanted to stretch out, you know, because it was the growth. Now, if they were still the same people, like Lawrence was still some dude depressed and bummy, and then she was still confused, that would have been total bullshit.
Yes.
It's like, that would have been total bullshit.
Yeah.
But growth is there, and I give it to him. I give it to him, but we'll still see what'll happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so, you know,
and we'll see because of Nathan.
Yeah, she's at the place. Nathan, he tried to do a little bit more than move.
Oh yeah, he's trying to make a move on her. Yes.
Yeah, which is normal. What's he?
Again, he's a dude. So yeah.
Well, it's not even that he's a dude. They had a pass. It's like,
yeah, he did. So he wants to see if they can make it work, and he's back, and you know, I get all of that, but I was just like, please don't sleep with him. That's what I said at first, and she didn't. But that's not to say that won't happen next week. Just saying.
Yeah, we don't know, because part of New Issa, part of her even getting there was partly Nathan's help.
Correct.
You know? And I mean, and that's the thing, but that's realistic as well.
Correct.
That's a realistic thing. And you know, and it's interesting because Issa told Nathan about Lawrence, and
yes,
he was saying all this negative stuff, but you know, Issa was defending Lawrence.
Right, as she should.
Yeah, but I think, you know, all Nathan had to go on was what Issa told him,
right,
about Lawrence, but that was the old Lawrence. That was
right.
before she really met the new Lawrence or really got to know him. So it's just like, oh, okay. And then, you know, one of the things, because people have been saying the mental health issue with Nathan.
Correct.
And that was a very important thing, because,
yes,
you know, starting with Molly dealing with some issues she ain't dealing with, at least even Nathan could say, you know what, hey, these issues, I know what it is, I'm dealing with it.
Right.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts?
Again, score one for therapy. I mean, it was the winner of the episode. So, you know, when you have two people talking about mental health issues, that's a big deal. So, especially for Black folks, it's huge. It's a huge deal, especially with everything that's going on. So, you know, we kind of figured, again, other people had called it. We saw that he had mental health issues because of the hurricane and everything. He lost everything. I mean, he was going through a lot. And then he got diagnosed bipolar. So then he said he was relieved, you know, that at least he had like a name for what he was going through. And he finally told her. And so she was like, okay, now I understand what's going on with you and what happened, what really happened. Because he wasn't in a space to talk about it or explain it to her at the time. Yeah. But now he can. And that's a good thing. But see, again, that's growth on his part, that he can have that kind of conversation with somebody he cares about. Yes. So I was down.
Yeah, and that's a very good thing. But then, you know, he still had to get some stuff from Andrew's place, and he goes over there while Molly is over there.
Right. But him and Issa go over there.
Yeah, and even before that, you could see Andrew had an issue with Molly not coming with him to the Clippers game.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, and I'm thinking I'm thinking, okay, Molly's just doing her thing, but Molly's so into her stuff, she ain't affecting her. Thing about her actions is affecting something else, and that's been a consistent thing throughout the series anyway.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. And so Andrew is seeing that about her, and he's questioning the relationship. He didn't say it out loud, but he's got that look like, I don't know about this. You know, I don't know about her. If she won't even deal with my brother, we can't go any further, because he's going to go with his family first. He's going to stick with his brother. You know, he'll kick her to the curb fast over that.
Yeah, because he even he said that back when they were on vacation. You know, he said, you know, he's an asshole, but that's my brother.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's a family thing, and it's deeper than just saying, understand, and that's a very big issue when we talk about interracial or intercultural relationships. In his culture, family's everything. Right. You know, if he got like, you know, in that culture, particularly Korean culture, if you got a family member saying, hey, I ain't feeling her, that could be it. And I've seen that happen. you know? So it's just like, no, we can't deal with that.
No,
So,
no,
you
no.
know, but then here's the blow up of the night. Okay, so they still stay. They start playing that game, talking about Bernie Sanders throwing his name in there.
Oh, you know what? I
How
guessed
tall
that
he
he was
was.
6 feet. I guessed it. I was like, 6 feet. I won. Drink up, y'all. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because it's bad. I was like Bernie Sanders. Now I don't know why my mind was thinking is they talking about something because when he said 5'6", I was like,
No.
I was like, okay. So I don't know. My mind was like thinking about all the other stuff, not politics. So,
Right.
but here was the blow up. All of a sudden, Issa get a text. It's from
Yeah.
Molly, and probably the thing was meant for Andrew.
It was meant for Andrew, yes.
Yeah, and I forgot. I should have wrote down what they said, but the scene went so fast. It was just like, what did she say?
I didn't write it down, but it was something she said, see, I'm trying to get along with her, or I'm trying to work with her, or something like that. I didn't write it down either.
Okay.
But or see, I can make it work with her or something. She was trying. That's what she was trying to say to Andrew, that I'm trying. But it went to Issa by mistake.
Yeah.
And so Issa was like, damn, I'm so hard to love. Oh, okay, I didn't know. You know. So they had a big fight at the end of the episode. And basically, now this is what just pissed me off. When Molly said, it was to the effect of like, the way you are now, the way I am now, I just don't think we can get along. I'm like, heifer, what? It's like, what are you saying? Like, I could get along with broke down Issa, but I can't get with, rising up, climbing up Issa, trying to make something out of her life. You know what I'm saying? That was some bull. I was like, girl, bye.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out because I think some fellas or some men here saw that because of who Molly is. Think about it. She got that education, top notch, always got right. Probably got a control issue with it that was going to clash with Andrew at some point anyway.
Definitely.
Because we know some deeper stuff that we ain't necessarily sharing, and she got that personality.
Right.
And it was right. Like everything when Issa was totally jacked up, confused everything. If you notice through the 4 years, Molly was cool with her, but as long as Molly was in a superior position to her.
Correct.
And that was significant, but you notice the trouble started when Issa started moving out of that position. And you get relationships and friendships like that.
Right.
Whenever the other party starts changing up, you get the one party like they dominate, and it could be a male-female relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a family. Everybody cool as long as there's a status quo. As long as Issa was on some living in a jacked up way, confused, didn't know what she wanted to do, jumping all around, dealing with all these guys, it seemed like Molly was cool.
Perfect.
But did Molly really? I mean, Molly might have said something here and there about what she was doing, but Molly was like there. All of a sudden, Issa's focused on moving up. And Molly didn't even want to help out a little bit when she just asked for a little bit of help.
Right.
Getting someone, which, she could have done. But all of a sudden she's changing her whole perspective. And it's like Molly is not dealing with that leadership thing. In fact, I mean, it couldn't be in a case since she couldn't have exercise control over her male-female relationships.
Right.
Or how the men were. All of a sudden she gets with, she could transfer that need for control over to Issa. And as long as Issa was in that position, everything was cool. Issa started changing up, and then Molly get funky, And that was the thing. And if you, like I say, if you look at Molly through the 4 seasons, she's never taken responsibility for her role in something. Never. Like say, hold up, wait a minute, maybe you need to reach out. And I was just like, And, it'd be interested in how they solve it. If they solve it, it might not be solved till the middle of next year or something.
Oh, no, definitely. No, that's not going to be solved. No.
Yeah, because that's a major thing. But see, that's the thing. Molly needs to grow. That's
it's her turn.
Yeah, it's her turn. Everybody has grown but her. She needs to do something. You know, Lawrence has gone through his hero's journey.
Right.
Has gone through her hero's journey. Now
Right.
Molly needs to go through hers.
Right.
You know, that's a major thing. And I'm gonna say the episode directed by Kerry Washington. I'm gonna tell you what.
Yes.
You know, Insecure was built as a comedy when it first started, even though I was like, it ain't that funny. It has some stuff here and there and some funny moments. But
Yeah.
I would rate this as like the most serious episode. It was like a drama.
Yes, it
The
was.
most drama filled. And it was just like, you know, they should even, you can't even really call, they might label it a comedy or a dark comedy, but it was just like, you know, this was some serious stuff. I mean, this is why I bother even reviewing it, because those are some serious issues. I mean, we talking about the mental health part. That was key right there. That was key, especially when we talk with relationships, because I've always, well, I haven't said it publicly as much, but we need to get some mental health professionals to like really weigh in on a lot of the relationship issues out here anyway. You know? So, I mean, what are your thoughts on all of this? Just the whole episode, Molly, the whole issue, mental health. What are your issues? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a this, and I think next week is what you would call a come to Jesus moment. I think you're gonna have two, because you know, Nathan, you know, basically told Issa what was really going on, and Issa and Molly had their confrontation, and when it was time to have that moment, Molly backed away. She was like, nah, dog, nah, I can't do this, because she's not ready to look at herself and how she contributed to the relationship deteriorating. And she's going to have another come to Jesus moment. So is Issa, around her and Andrew. I can guarantee it next week. And because that's coming to a head pretty soon. And so is Lawrence and Issa. So it's like everybody's got to make a decision about who they want to be with and where they really want to go with their life. So that's how I saw it.
Yeah, and right now I'll make some predictions.
Okay.
I don't see Molly and Andrew working out, because
Not this time around.
Yeah, that family thing is major for Andrew.
Yeah.
That's part of his thing. He grew up with his brother. Yeah, they got their differences, but they're brothers, and family is major. You know, that's you can't put that to the side. You know, and then with Lawrence and Issa, I mean, if they split apart, well, they're not really together, but it'll be different from the last time. Yeah, it's not going to be the same thing. And really, he'll probably get the job. So
probably,
you know, I don't see her moving. So, and I don't see him having a long distance thing. But then last week we didn't see them getting back together like this either. So it's like we don't know. You know.
So last week I gave an 8.5. And as I sat here talking about it, I give this
one 9.5. Was it a 9.5?
Last week?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a little bit higher last week, I think.
It was either 8.5 or 9.5. It was one, I can't remember. And we have to roll tape. I'll look at it later. But but this one I give it 8.5 because it was just very realistic. You know, what's going on with Lawrence and Issa is realistic. Nathan's mental health issues, Molly's refusal to look at herself. Listen, she's coming again. I use come to Jesus, but with her next season, so she'll have her dark night of the soul. That's where she's headed. She has to. She's not going to be in a relationship with anybody.
Yeah, ever. Exactly.
Period. Ain't nobody going to want to deal with her. And that's what's going on right now. Andrew's like, I don't think we can do this. This is turning into just a purely sexual thing for him. So he may string it out a little bit, but he might be like, no, I can't do this anymore. It ain't even worth it anymore. So that's what I think is going to happen with those two.
Yeah. And I don't know, because I know like between Nathan and Lawrence, I know the ladies reviewing this, they're going to be like, girl, get Nathan.
No, well, I would say Lawrence. If I had to pick between the two.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, a lot of it be a class thing too, you know.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, because you would go for the more educated person, like, yeah, pop that Morehouse on there.
Yeah, can y'all see it?
Yeah, we can see that Morehouse. So, yeah.
It's not that. Now, you know it's not that. I just like Lawrence. I like Lawrence. Always have.
All right, yeah. Well, you know what, and that's a deeper issue. Not an issue, but that's a different thing anyway. That's like another conversation that doesn't even have to do with insecure, because
Yeah.
it's because just real quick, because I've
Hmm.
said this, because there's always this feeling that women, especially black women, like a certain type of man, thug,
Hmm.
whatever, struggling man, and I'm like,
Hmm.
go across the board. So Lawrence is more, he's more for the more upper class type of woman, like
Yeah.
Condola.
Right.
Issa actually on the rise. Like if Issa had stayed the same, oh, definitely Nathan, definitely Nathan. But as she's rising, so is her taste. So,
Absolutely.
and that's a real thing. That's a real thing, and that's cool. That's cool. But yeah, this was. I'm gonna tell you what. It was a good episode because you
Yeah.
sitting there and it's like, okay, the comedy is just out the door,
Hmm.
and it's getting into some serious stuff. And I think that's ultimately that's why I think Insecure is good,
Hmm.
because a lot of people question why we even watching everything, but things happen in real life. How many professional women are on that
Hmm.
right thing and doing everything, but seemingly can't find that relationship, and
Right.
this is speaking to them. Or how many women have, they might have some potential, can't really find themselves. Then when they find themselves, they explode. And then on the
Right.
other side, how many professional or dudes who maybe come from Lawrence's background, they have everything going all right, but then when they have a bad time, they really go low. And it's
Yes.
tough to come back up because it showed his journey just rising back up and
Hmm.
finding himself. Went from somebody who's on a couch to somebody who's able to move to San Francisco, probably with a tech job, and he'll probably be making money out the wazoo,
Right.
and and then Nathan, Nathan was just a guy, just I don't know, just living on a friend and stuff.
Hmm.
And they didn't say he was a barber at first, but now all of a sudden he's gonna be a part owner of a barber shop.
Right. Exactly.
And what's the biggest thing he did? Found out what was going on. It's like, okay, he's bipolar, he knows what to do. And that's the
Exactly.
beauty of it. And that speaks to relationships in real life. Ultimately, every person has to grow within themselves
Absolutely.
before deal with themselves, and then the relationships get easy.
Hmm.
People got to do that work. I say that constant. People know who follow me on my men's and women's channel. I say, hey, you got to do that work. Everybody got to
Yeah.
do that work. Rom's had to do that work. Seriously.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I'll be the first to say it.
Hmm.
I tell people,
Hmm.
yeah, I ain't at the top of the mountain. I'm just climbing up. I'm maybe a little
Hmm.
bit ahead of you, but you in shouting distance. Sometimes you in whispering distance, but I'm still making that climb as well. I'm a work in progress, and that's every single one of us. So I thought that really brought that out. So any last thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to the season finale.
I am
I'm
too.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And I would just say overall, as a show, it's
Hmm.
gotten better.
Yes,
It's definitely gotten better over the years. So I'm giving it 2 thumbs up.
I give it that too, because if the way they going in season 5, they should probably just take that whole
Hmm.
um, comedy thing off of there, because you not yeah, you got some funny moments, but that's in real life though. You're gonna have some people, even in the most hardcore like
Hmm.
shows, there's comedic moments.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's what this is becoming. But it has some issues that people need to realize, and I think a lot of people gonna see themselves. Because I wouldn't be surprised
Hmm.
if you get a lot of more people like actually using therapy, or getting like maybe
Yeah,
some men and women saying, you know what, let me check myself out, see what's going on. And I think that's very important.
it's great. I think it's wonderful. And depending on when they film season 5, a lot of what's going on right now will be incorporated into next season.
Yeah, it
And
needs to
I
be.
think it'll be the best one yet. I really do.
I think so too. It needs to be. And just the way Issa Rae rolls, she definitely will.
Yeah,
She'll find a way.
to find a way for sure.
There will be episodes where they're walking around with a face mask. There'll be episodes where they ducking a protest, or something.
Yeah.
Maybe even have one of the
Hmm.
characters get arrested or something, or have some stuff happen. She will cover it probably.
Yeah, she
So
will get into that. And I think Also, too, I think we're going to see, this is my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see Tiffany next week. And I think she may admit, or they may see the evidence of her postpartum depression. Because I ain't forgot about Tiffany. So, because it's real. And I know that's what's going on with her. So I think everybody may come together for her, like the women, Kelly and Molly and Issa, may come together to help Tiffany. So that's my prediction for next week. So
I think that's a good. I was thinking the same thing because that's someone else. I mean, we're talking about Molly and stuff, but Tiffany wasn't a major character.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a real thing as well.
Yes.
That's a real thing as well because she's going through it. She got this baby, but she's going through some stuff. And I think one of the things, if you look at the show overall, they bringing in the characters aren't superficial. No, and they bringing in real stuff that happens. The mental health aspects are real things that happen. Absolutely. So, and people got to deal with it. So, anyway, if you got anything else to add, because this is getting a little long, but these are serious issues we had to get out.
Very serious. It was good. No, I'm good. I'm just looking forward to next week.
Okay, I am too. So, anyway, everybody, we want to thank you for listening. And on a real serious note, if you really think you need to reach out to a mental health professional, something like that, and we dead serious on this, do it. I'll speak to, like, a lot of women would do it anyway, but many men, seriously, talk with somebody. If you're not a mental health professional, maybe an elder, a wise elder, maybe a spiritual advisor or something. That's an issue, and I probably need to get into that more on some of my podcasts. But definitely get help, and just even if it's just hollering, sitting back with some of the boys or the ladies or whatever your group, and just saying, look, this is what's going on with it. So
yeah, absolutely. Reaching out is the first step, because isolation is terrible. And you feel alone, like nobody understands. And as soon as you reach out to somebody, you break that chain right there. You tell somebody else what's going on with you. So please reach out.
Exactly. So anyway, we want to thank everybody for listening, and peace and many blessings.
Bye.